Hello everyone and welcome back to more Cinderella Phenomenon. We are back once again in Fritz's route. Yes, still in Fritz's route, except this time we are here to get his good ending. Yeah, in the last episode we finished off his route, did chapters 9 and 10, and then of course concluded with a bad ending as per usual. We basically ended off on, we were back at the Merchant after that whole incident with Garland and Jurian and escaping from the Queen, and we came back and we were supposed to, work up a plan on where to move forward and how to move forward. So essentially what happened was that Dolores divulged that Waltz was a witch and that he's been cursed, and that his curse came from his mom. Okay, the music stopped for a few seconds. I'm kind of worried. Oh, yes. Okay. I was like, what's happening? I don't want it to crash suddenly. I don't know. Anyway, so Dolores, Waltz revealed that our mother cursed him with the Neverland curse, and or the Peter Pan curse, or Neverland curse. Either way, he's like stuck in this. He's trapped in this little small boy body when he's not supposed to be, and the only way to break it is if he finds Neverland and Tinkerbell. And he reveals the fact that Neverland is like a box, and Tinkerbell is like this little key, and inside it's his shadow, and that's how he breaks his curse. And we're like, wait a minute, we had that box, and well, I pieced it together before she kind of figured it out, but eventually she figured it out. She's like, oh my god, I have seen it before, like it's in my room. I can go get it. And Dolores was like, okay, great. So anyways, you're staying here because we're not going back there. It's too dangerous. So she's like, no, I'm the only one who knows how to get it. And she's just like, well, just tell us where it is and we'll go get it. And we started had like a little tussle, a little bit of fight. And then before anything can really be settled, Varg shows up. He busts in through there. He's like, I'm here to take back the princess, obviously. And there's a fight that broke out, and then Dolores ordered Waltz to like take us away to somewhere safer, but then we hesitated and we were like, no, we want to help, we want to do something. And so and eventually we were like, what if we take away his cane, because it seems like all his power comes from it. So we did that. We sort of tackled him, took away his cane, and eventually it was like it wasn't the case. Like he was like, I don't need my cane. And cane is like, I can be as dangerous without it. But I think before anything can really come out of it, Parfait shows up and she knocks everybody out. She knocks Varg out, and she's like, okay, here's the plan. Meet me at midnight at the palace gates tomorrow with Neverland and Tinkerbell. Can you do that? And she's like, okay. And so she sends us back with Varg to the palace, which is surprising enough. And we just go back to our room. We try to find Tinkerbell and Neverland, but we only managed to find Tinkerbell, the key. So we're like, where the hell is the box? So we settled for the night after we couldn't find it. And then we were like, hey, let's set out in the morning around the palace, try to look for Neverland. And so I chose to go into the throne room because that makes more sense. And then we eventually found Neverland. We found the box sitting on the throne room, just chilling. So we grabbed the box, but then Mother shows up. Mother is obviously very angry and upset with us. And yeah, she basically told us to obey us, but then we're like, no. And then we're like, whatever, fuck it. And then Mithro shows up. I don't know. Somebody shows up, interrupts everything. Oh, Dolores shows up, interrupts everything. And then we managed to get out. And then we made it to the palace gate, except we're too early. Oh yeah, and Fritz was there too, surprising enough. Like Fritz himself. And then, we made it there too early. Parfait wasn't there yet. And then we got attacked again by Mom. And then, of course, Varg, she made Varg come out. And then, we were stuck in a hard spot, and then Dolores sacrificed herself, which is super sad. She died to make sure that we got out back to the Merchant once Parfait showed up. So everyone's sad, and we had to break the news to everybody. And eventually Parfait was saying how like the only way we can probably kill the queen at this point is to destroy the Lucis bearer, her crystal, so that it can destroy the Tenebrarium, because they're all linked together. And if the crystals die, then along with the person who's linked to them die. So it's the easier way. But we're like, no, we can't sacrifice Parfait in order to kill Mom. Like, there has to be another way. So our plan that we came up with was that we wanted to talk to Mom, try to reason with her again, but then we needed to go rescue the king so that she doesn't have any sort of bribing chip left, so that after the king is safe, then that means we can just go all out attacking her and she won't have any sort of advantage over us. So that was that. We went with Waltz to go rescue the king in the Tenebrarium vault area, where the crystal was, but we got ambushed by Varg. Obviously, he reveals the big reveal is that he didn't want to hurt us, and that he has fallen for us. He had a change of heart, but he has no choice but to like enact orders still to keep us safe, quote quote. But then, of course, before anything really happens, Mythos shows up. Waltz was out of commission, and he was about to get killed off or something. Oh no, Mythos was going to, hit us with like this like really powerful spell, and then Varg, of course, shows up, pushes us out of the way. He dies in the process, as well as, Fritz. Fritz dies as well, and he was just lamenting on the fact that, in the end, you'll never choose me anyway. It's always gonna be Fritz, and that was that. Yeah, so now we're back here. We're back here in the very beginnings. I know I said before ending the episode that I feel like it's gonna be really short. It's shorter than most of the routes that I've did, because I feel like it was mostly in the beginnings and really sparsely that I did bad answers. But for the most part, after like a certain I think question or a certain prompt, then I started to get correct answers more and more. So by the end of it, I was still able to get a good answer. So I think it was just near the beginnings that I sort of stumbled my way through, but then afterwards I eventually got the hang of it and started giving good answers. So yeah, I think for the most part we're gonna be around here, and then I'm gonna do maybe at most 5. I think I got at least 5 wrong, but anyways, regardless, we're back here. We are in the house, the very beginnings of our curse, and I think we just told him about the curse, and I don't know, he came back from the house or some shit, I don't know, and he was really, or he just got done talking with his father, and he was just really miffed about something, and then he was like, oh no, it's nothing, blah blah blah, and then we're like, yo, what's happening? Should I not send anything? I don't know. Anyways, regardless, whatever, it's we're supposed to press the issue instead of changing the topic, which I did last time. I thought I was being courteous and not making him uncomfortable by changing the topic, but no, you're supposed to press the issue, so we're gonna press the issue. Oh yeah, and I skipped the first question because I got it right. It's to spare those thugs that were after us, so that's obvious enough. So yeah, I noticed the way he spoke to you, and in the palace I never saw the two of you together. Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's something about his father and him. What's up? I didn't think you would notice. Oh, why? You are my knight. I spent a lot of time with you, so of course I am aware of how others treat you. Oh, is that it? Was that the pretense? Oh, okay. I also know what it is like to be distant from your own family. If you do not wish to speak of such matters, you do not need to. Oh, thank you, princess. Okay. Fritz clears his throat before he turns to me. His smile, so bright, it seems to light up his face. Okay, so we're supposed to let him know that we notice little details about him that makes him happy. Okay. God damn it. Okay, so we're gonna skip on the next question. The next question prompt is when he brings Delora back to us in the form of her doll. He still isn't aware that Delora is actually a witch, and in which we acknowledge her, sort of thing, where it's like when he asked us, oh, isn't this your favorite doll, kind of thing, and we were like, yes, she is, instead of just outright being like, oh no, I'm too old for dolls. Yeah, so that's that. So we're gonna skip on that. No, we're not gonna skip on that. That's a new dialogue because we are perceptive of Fritz and his ways. They can't miss what they don't remember. What? What do you mean? Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, we were passing by the royal family, and we saw how happy they were without us, and it's made us really sad. I'm sorry for bringing you here. I should have known it would be difficult. How could you have known? Oh, you're my charge. It's my job to know. Okay, exactly how much does he know about me? A lot, apparently. Okay, we dare. Oh, okay. Oh, that was weird. He just kind of made that comment. Okay. Okay, now we can skip. Here we go! Yes, this is the next part, the next question that I did wrong. I didn't do correctly. Was when we came back to the margin, and then afterwards we stormed out because Parfait wasn't there for a start, and then Delora said some pretty, mean, hard, tough love kind of stuff that really upsets us, and we stormed out. We're like, whatever, I don't need you. I'm just gonna go back to the Leverton house because I'm safe there anyways. And then of course Waltz tries to stop us. He's like, where are you going? what's happening kind of thing. And I felt really bad because this is the first time we've seen him since he lost us in that town square when we were running from the thugs. So yeah, I felt guilty and I wanted to at least stop and talk to him a little bit to let him know that, you know, we're okay kind of thing. But no, we need to keep walking. Ignore everybody. I do not have time for this. I ignore Waltz and continue walking. Waltz reaches out and takes a hold of my arm, forcing me to stop. What are you doing? I'm leaving. What does it look like? Leaving? Do you know how worried everyone's been? How worried I was? Yeah, exactly. As you can see, I am fine. I will be even better when I am away from the marching, so I am leaving. Oh my gosh, 3 days. What? You've been gone for 3 days. Yeah. I haven't seen you in 3 days and you're just going to brush me off? Exactly! That's what I'm saying! I was like, I've been so bad for Waltz. I've been spending all of my free time looking for you after we got separated that day. Did you know how bad I felt when I lost you? If something had happened to you, I would never have forgiven myself. Dolores sent you her message. Yes, but even then, all we knew was that she was with you. That didn't mean you were safe. I yanked my arm out of his grasp. I would have been perfectly safe even if Dolores wasn't with me. In fact, I would have still had my old life if she had never cursed me. Yes. That's like her vice, I guess. Ah, princess, yeah. See, I felt so bad for Waltz. God damn it, girl. Okay, fine, whatever. That's what we needed to say in order to get this good ending. Okay, so, let's see. Stay still, tell him. Okay. We're gonna skip this next choice because it's the choice where we were making our way back to the Leverton house with Dolores as her doll form. And we were just talking and kind of making up after our little argument. And then we spotted Varg there. And we were like, holy shit, Varg! And he was by the house and we didn't know what to do. And he was coming towards our way. And we didn't know whether to stay still or to like slowly back away. Or slowly, you know, yeah, retreat. But so the right answer, of course, is to stay still. And then Dolores does some shit with the clouds. And, you know, we were safe anyway. So yeah, we're gonna skip on that. Oh, no! More dialogue! Jesus! Okay, this is a lot of dialogue changes in terms of, like, what we missed in not getting the correct answer. So she says she's leaving, yes. But what? But why? She says she's fine without us and can't understand why we've been worried. Yes, I know. I think Dolores has something to do with the situation. Okay, there we go. That's just his additional comments. Okay, now we can skip. Okay, here we are. This is the next choice that I didn't make correctly. It's because I was still on the fence about Fritz and Varg being the same person, and you know how like Varg can take advantage of anything that we tell Fritz because he's the only one who can recollect memories and shit like that of both of them. So we woke up from a nightmare, I think, was when it was a brief flashback of her mom talking to Mithros, telling about how like, oh, the traitors and shit like that, they will be punished and blah 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 kind of thing. And we woke up and we were scared and shit. And then of course Fritz hears us and he comes rushing in. And then of course he was like, do you want to talk about your nightmare? And I said, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Anyways, yeah, I said don't say anything. Except this time I'm supposed to tell him. Correct answer is to tell him. So yeah, I cannot remember it clearly, but I believe it was a nightmare. I can remember Mother's voice, the cruel, wicked contempt of her voice. It was terrible. A sudden coldness slides over my body, making me shiver despite Fritz's best efforts. Still, he does not slip away, and his closeness once again comforts me after some time. He is so warm, so very warm. You know, princess, yes, I'm glad that I could comfort you this time, even if I was never able to before. Yes, that's it. So we told him. I think this might be the last of the choice prompts, or the choices that I did incorrectly. I'm gonna skip this next one coming up because I made that one correctly at least. So the next one that I did correctly was Stand Your Ground, which I'm pretty sure has something to do with Varg. I'm pretty sure it's when we tried the whole like alarm system. Like we went out of the house. We were supposed to meet up with Dolores, but then Varg caught onto us first, and he cornered us in the square, and we didn't back down. We stood our ground in terms of like him trying to intimidate us. But anyways, yeah, I did that correctly. I'm gonna go to the next choice after that one, in which I didn't do correctly, and I think no, I was incorrect. I was incorrect. I jumped the gun too soon because I thought it was something to do with how we were trying to tell Fritz about his curse, but then he ends up not believing us. But the choice beforehand was that we either choose to tell him upright or choose to not say anything. And I said to try to tell him the truth about his curse, but he wouldn't believe us, and that was the result of it. But no, that was before that, way before that. So that choice, so the last one I was talking about was when we met up with Sir Mythos, obviously, and he was telling us how the Martian people should not be trusted, and he said all this, like, you know, these things, these proofs, quote proofs, that we shouldn't trust them. But the choice was that we either doubt or believe him. Of course, I chose to doubt him. Duh. Why would I trust that snake? But the next one is here, where we had to go back. Eventually, we came back after confronting Delora about our curse and how she wanted us to suffer and blah 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 and teach us the lesson, but she's like, no, it's not how you're supposed to look at it that way. But we got upset. We came back to Mythos and we're like, okay, take me back to the castle, the palace. And Fritz is there. I mean, well, Varg is there. And then, of course, Varg is just saying, he's just, you know, talking shit about Fritz. And we had the choice here to either defend Fritz or say nothing. And we're supposed to say nothing about that. So I don't even know why. But anyways, that's the right choice to do it. So say nothing. Why does he have that opinion of Fritz? He called Fritz a dog, basically. If anything, Varg is the animal. Fritz is twice the man he is. Varg continues to walk forward ever so slowly, but I remain rooted in place. Eventually, he whirls around and looks at me. That's it? Any date on princess? That's it? Really? We just kept our thoughts to ourselves? Wow, okay. Maybe there's an additional change in dialogue. But anyways, if there isn't, then I don't know. And we're gonna just skip on choices and I'll catch you guys up then. I suspect as much. So I suspect it does. I know that Fritz sometimes struggles with their commands as well. Unlike you, however, Fritz does not take his frustrations out on other people. He does not lash out at others by scaring them. He certainly does not protect people by stalking them from the shadows. Ooh, Varg's hand clenched over his cane as he glowers at me. Yes, you always talk about that idiot. Do you know how sick I am of hearing about him? Yes, I think she was just talking about how Varg is just Varg was just bragging about how he's the better knight and shit like that, or better protector, quote quote. Okay, let's skip on ahead. Okay, here we are. This is the choice that I was talking about before the whole Mythos thing. So this is a point in which Fritz comes back after we said the magic word? I can't remember. Anyways, no. Fritz comes back the very next day after that night where he, as Varg, tried to murder the two siblings, the Abraham and Emmeline, and we helped them escape. And he comes into our room. He's like, I can't find the royal children or the, you know, Rod and Emmeline anywhere. Where are they? Do you know what happened? And we're just like, he doesn't remember what he did. So yeah, and then he was just like, oh, he noticed us that we were very hesitant in telling him or something like that. And he was just like, you know, let me help you, please, kind of thing. And, you know, what's up? And, you know, we were just lamenting and thinking to ourselves, like, I can't look at Fritz the same way that I used to, because now it seems like I don't know him all that well because, you know, of Varg and shit like that. So we're supposed to doubt him in this time instead of let him, and we tell him about his curse. So doubt him. I doubt you can. My chest begins to ache and my heart feels heavy. You've never believed me. Yes, and that is true. He didn't the first time around. There is certainty in Fritz's eyes that was not there before. He looks at me with fierce determination. Try me. Okay. I sigh and rub my hand over my eyes. You are cursed. His silence is all the response I need. I knew this would happen. I knew he still wouldn't believe me. Princess, we talked about this before, but what exactly are you saying? What exactly are you seeing that makes you so firmly believe that? Well, I eye him warily. Will he really listen to me? You are cursed with an alternate personality, a cruel one. I've known him for months now. Varg, well, you, Fritz, were going to kill Rod and Emmeline last night. Okay. He reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine on the windowsill. His determination has dwindled into uncertainty. You don't believe me. I believe you, Princess. Well, I can see it in your eyes, Fritz. You doubt me. I do not doubt you, Princess. I am just confused. How could I not know about the existence of an alternate personality or about a curse inflicted on me? Okay, there we go. So I pull my hand away from him and cross the other side of the room. So he sort of let us down in a more gentler way in terms of him doubting us about his curse. He just says in a in a very roundabout way. He's like, I'm just confused. Like, what did you see that, you know, that made us so certain about this whole thing? And we were just like, well, it's because we just saw you change and shift in front of our eyes how many times. But yeah, of course, he doesn't believe us, or doesn't even remember. So yeah, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. I think, okay. Never mind. I said I made mistakes mostly in the beginning of his rap, but no, there's like sprinkled sparsely here and there near the ending as well. And I think the last of the choice that I didn't make correctly was when I had to admit after Garland dies that it was my fault when we met up with the Waltz. Okay, so we're gonna skip all the way to that point unless there's some extra dialogue that we will run into, but then I will stop there. Oh, there we go. Just as I said it. So I knew you weren't going to believe me. How could I have been so stupid to think that you would? Aw, princess. Aw, he begins to move toward me, but I stop him in his tracks with a single glare. Don't. Okay, there we go. So it just kind of played out in a more roundabout way. Okay, finally we made it to the last of the choices that I didn't make correctly. It was here as I was telling you about it. It was when Waltz asked about Garland, and then he turns to us because Jurian, obviously very still upset, didn't want to talk about it, and we were just like, what do I even say? And we're gonna say it's my fault. Yes, princess, I'm sure that's not true. I glare at Waltz as tears well in my eyes. It was my fault. Waltz falls silent as he studies my face, then he sighs before taking my hand. Yeah, okay, there we go. Unless there's additional dialogue, then we're gonna skip right on to the end because on the rest of the choices I made correctly, and then of course we're gonna go right to chapter 10 and see our title change, and we're gonna see what's different. Okay, I called it. It was more dialogue change, or more additional dialogue. So mother found us in the tunnels. Jurian told Garland to get me out. My throat threatens to close, but I forced the words out. Mother is so strong, and I thought Jurian might not survive. So I convinced Garland to go back, and that's when... I stared down at my mug, my hands trembling. It's my fault. It's all my fault. If I hadn't convinced Garland to go back, Mother wouldn't have killed him. But then she would have killed Jurian, no? It's like, I don't know. I don't know if you can win in this situation. Anyways, there's that. Okay, we're gonna skip right on ahead then. Chapter 10, The Hunter. Okay. Yes, we did. There's a big bad wolf and the... Wouldn't it be the woodsman rather than the hunter? Okay, whatever. Regardless, we are back here again, right where we left off. I think it was supposed to be... I think this is right before we went into the Tenebrarium chamber with Waltz and finding the king all vegetable and shit like that. And then that's when Varg showed up. It took a lot to convince everyone that I need to enter the palace alone. It is the people outside. It is the people outside who are fighting Mother that need the greater strength. Bringing any one of them with me would have greatly diminished that strength. Okay. Oh! I must quickly find the king. Okay, so this time around we didn't have Waltz with us because before we had Waltz. Okay, so I must quickly find the king. Mother always made sure to leave the king in the throne room whenever she left, so it follows that she would leave him there now. Okay, but it's too quiet in here. Okay, I push open the doors to stop in the doorway. The king is sitting on his throne room with a vacant expression fixed to his face. He does not so much as flinch as I step inside. Okay, and this time he's in the throne room instead of in the Tenebrarium chamber. Huh, I tentatively make my way to the throne. Your Majesty? Faja? He does not speak. His eyes remain fixated in the same place as if he is looking through me. Is he gone forever? Maybe he's just in a very deep spell. That's what Waltz said, because he was like, I can't break this spell because it's too strong. He has to be the one to break it himself. Angiel needs you, so maybe this is the chance. This is the moment. The king I know would never leave his kingdom to ruin. I am standing close enough to him that I could reach out and touch him if I wanted to. What do I have to do to save you? Oh, so now you're being nice to him. Well, I don't really have much of a choice, and I'm a changed person, Varg. I whirl around and place myself in between the king and Varg. Hello, all those years you had the opportunity to reach out to him, but you never did. So I guess the king had to be missing his soul for you to care about him. Hey now, what are you doing here, Varg? Varg? Someone had to keep an eye on the old man. Okay, well, the queen thought someone might try to take the old man while she was busy. Well, she's smart because she's right. I had a feeling it would be you who'd return. Yes, hello, 'tis I. You can't bear the thought of losing someone else, can you? No. What are you going to do then? Yeah, I am not leaving without the king. Varg is silent as he makes his way toward me. I am not entirely sure how I am going to stop him, but I will not move. Yes. I cannot let him take the king, and I will not succumb to his threats. You don't scare me. It is at this moment that in that moment, just as he is about to reach out to me, that he suddenly drops to his knees and puts a hand to his chest, his expression pained. Okay, I just need a little more time. What is happening to him? Right. He manages to talk to me through gritted teeth. You shouldn't have come here alone, especially not with the big bad wolf here. It's my job to destroy you, you know. But you won't? He flashes me a wicked grin, but the expression is shockingly short-lived. It is replaced by a soft smile. But this big bad wolf can't do that. You can't destroy a person you've fallen in love with. Yay! I knew it! Yes! He admits it. Here too. Of course he does. That is the big plot twist, is that he has a change of heart. How are you in love with me? Varg looks at me amused. How? Blame Fritz. This was never meant to happen, but I can't help feelings that were there from the get-go. Aha. The queen wasn't pleased with your knight, so she tried to erase him forever. Of course, but he hung on, and he was pretty sure that if you could be strong, so could he. He looks up at me with such sadness. I actually feel guilt stir within me, and I am not entirely sure why. I don't think Fritz could ever deserve you. Deserve me? Yeah, but he's more worthy of you than I will ever be. Wow. So I'm nothing more than a moth drawn to your fire. I can only ever be burned by you. Maybe Fritz will have better luck. Shadows begin to gather around Varg's feet and start to slowly swirl up the length of his body. Does that mean Fritz is coming back? I guess so. I know that this is the only thing you would ever want from me. I just wanted to tell you how I felt. Just that. Gods know that Fritz is incapable. Oh yeah, he'll never confess his feelings for me, but he's like, I'm doing us both a favor. But he is capable of one thing. He's a good hunter. He defeated me fair and square to save Little Red, and now I have no choice but to step aside. So Fritz has overpowered Varg. I guess so. Try to miss me, princess. Think about me every now and then. That would be enough. Oh, Varg, what are you? Goodbye, my princess. He smiles at me, his cocky grin faded into a gentle smile. The shadows cloak him fully, making him a little less than a silhouette. Okay. There he goes. I keep myself firmly positioned in front of my father. The darkness eventually dissipates, and there, standing in the moonlight, is a familiar face. Hello, Fritz. Fritz! My boy, Fritz! I'm back. Yes, I look at him with bleary eyes. I'm sorry for taking so long, princess. I'm running before I even realize my feet are moving. I am overwhelmed with so many emotions, none of which I can put a name to in this moment. Oh my god, I know only that I am happy, so happy Fritz is back. Fritz! Oh wow, yes, there she goes. I throw my arms around his neck and kiss him. Kiss him! Kiss him like you mean it. Fritz pulls his arms around my waist, pulling me closer. This is him. This is Fritz's heartbeat, his scent, his warmth. He came back to me. Thoughts whirl around my foggy head. Yes, I step away from him ever so slightly, suddenly aware of the heat in my cheeks. Wait, did I just kiss Fritz? Yes, you did, girl! You kissed him like he was yours, and now he is. I cannot bring myself to move away from his grasp, but I suddenly cannot bring myself to look up at him either. Why did I just? Because you love him, girl. God. Fritz's gentle laugh brings me back to my senses. Though it is hard to parse the feelings inside of me, I can at least be certain that I love the smile he is giving me right now. This feels like a dream. It does. But we got bigger issues at hand, people. We still got a witch to defeat. And not just because of what happened, but because Fritz is here, really here. Yes, he is. Fritz leans forward to slowly brush a strand of hair away from my face. My heart pounds in my chest at the subtle touch. Once again, my mind is reeling with considerations. If the princess says it isn't a dream, then it must be real, because I trust her with all my heart. Aw, I thought I lost you for good. I do not flinch away when Fritz pulls me closer so that I am resting against his chest. But how did this happen? Did you overwhelm Varg? Varg erased himself. Oh, how is that possible? Yeah. He's always had that ability, but he's never had any reason to consider using it before. Oh. Then why now? Because of me. Because he cared for you. Yes, my love for you is so strong it must have affected him too. You love me? Varg said the same thing, and he blamed Fritz. So is it true? So it is true. Duh! Like, I don't know what else you call it, that you just rushed into his arm and he kissed you and shit, and now he's like all, you know, looking at you with googly eyes. Fritz smiles, and I feel his warmth spread inside me like sunlight. Always, always, Hannah. I've always loved you. Now he's Snape. Oh, well, this is quite the scandal. Oh, hello, Mythos. Fritz moves to stand in front of me. Yes. My queen is not going to be pleased. If my curse was so weak that even Sir Fitzgerald could break it, I do not think I am safe from her wrath. Yes, of course not. But I believe her disappointment in me will be second to the disappointment she feels for you. After all, you chose a lowly knight. How dare you? Yeah, how dare you speak ill of Bay, Princess? I stopped short at Fritz's tone. You have an important task, don't you? Oh right, the king. But Mythos, trust me. Fritz releases my hand to pull out his sword, sinking easily into a ready stance. I'll protect you. Okay. You think you could possibly prevail over me? Now when you have no cane, no power at all. I don't need no cane. You think I'm old? Don't make me laugh. Fritz strikes, his slash quick and clean, taking Mythos by surprise. Fritz manages to cut his sword through his shoulder. Dang! There, how you like that? Mythos hisses as he clutches his bleeding shoulder, the hatred bright in his eyes. As Fritz rushes Mythos, I run toward the king. Yes. Your Majesty, you think a mere swordsman can best one of the Queen's apprentices. I'd be more wary if I were you, Sir Mythos. I approach the king, who has yet to move from his spot. What do? How can I possibly move him? I need to wake him up. But how? Your Majesty! I have been selfish. I was always so concerned with my own feelings and my own pain. I reached out a trembling hand and set it atop of one of his hands. And now I realize you were trying to help. It may have been lackluster, but you genuinely tried. There was an effort. I have been so unfair to you, just like Mother was. I do not know if words are enough to make up for what I have done, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so cruel to you. Please, I need you. I stare hard into my father's eyes, but there is no movement, no recognition. I dip my head in mourning and bite my lip as I try to think of another way to save him. But my thoughts subside when a flash of light permeates my vision. It is only for a moment, but when I look up, I can suddenly see life in my father's eyes. Hannah? Yes, your Majesty! I reach out to hug him, and he wraps his arms around me. Hello, I feel like I've been asleep for so long. Yeah, I feel like I've been asleep for a long time. Yes, you kind of have been. And then I heard your voice. It sounded as if you needed me. Yes, I did. What has happened? A lot of shit. Shit has hit the fan, Father. Your wife is back. Your ex-wife is back, and she's angry, and she's out to get you. He eyes the motion behind me and raises his eyebrows. He attempts to stand, but his knees shake and buckle. I duck underneath one of his arms to help him back onto the throne. The king stiffens as he glances at the battle ensuing behind me. Sir Mythos and Sir Fitzgerald? Yes, him. What is going on here? I know, you've missed quite a lot. The king has broken the enchantment. Impossible. Impossible! Yes, I told you not to underestimate her. Yes, Your Majesty, we need to get you out of here. Oh, what is happening here? Oh no. Mother suddenly materializes in the center of the room, standing right before Mythos and Fritz. Who has the witch? Oh no. Don't stop that. Who has the witch at sword point against the front doors? Oh. The witch at sword point? Okay, whatever. But Mother is not alone. Mother has Parfait in a tight grip, but the moment I call her name, she releases her and Parfait tumbles to the floor. Crimson stains her dress. Oh no, Parfait, you're bleeding! Parfait does not move to acknowledge me. Fate would not let go, so I had to bring her with me. Not that it matters. What did you do to her? Where are the others? Well, they retreated like cowards, persistent things. I would have killed them had Faye not sacrificed herself. I let out a sigh of relief. They're all okay and alive. But you still care so much about those traitors. I cannot understand your attachment to them. Mother turns her attention away from me and to the two men who are at a standstill. Alright, Mythos, you disappoint me. Of course she is. She is, yeah. She's disappointed in everybody. That's like her default. With a flick of her hand, Fritz is pulled away from Mythos and across the throne room toward me. I move to steady Fritz as he stumbles beside me. Oh, I am sorry, my queen. I have given you too many chances to prove yourself worthy. You have failed me too many times, Myth. Oh, you are of no use to me anymore. Oh, but my queen, I have done everything you wanted me to. Please give me one more chance. She's probably gonna I promise I... Yes, silence, silence. Mother's voice is as cold and sharp as ice. Leave before I erase you from my sight. Please, my queen. Nope, she ain't having none of it. Mother cast a spell at Mythos that is all too familiar. Yeah, it is the same spell she used to kill Delora. Is it like Havana Kedavra? Yeah. Mythos does not even have a chance to defend himself as Mother's spell shocks his body. Yes, such a pest. I don't even know why I kept that useless fool all these years. I slowly turn to look at Mythos. He is no longer standing but lays, unmoving on the floor. I feel bile rising in my throat. I cannot believe Mother just did that to him. Well, I believe it because she's a bitch. She's heartless. She's cold. That's cold-blooded. How could you take away the man's life so easily, Hildire? How can you be so heartless? How could you be so heartless? It is the first time I have ever heard my father speak to Mother that way. Heartless. I am heartless. Humans shattered my heart many years ago when you hunted my kind. You did this to me. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice movement. In moments, Parfait moves to stand before us, blocking us from Mother. Even though her clothes are soaked in blood, she is clearly wounded, Parfait has never looked so regal before. You! What? Me? 'Tis I. Parfait's hands move before resting over her chest where light begins to gather in her hands. Oh, is she killing herself? Oh my gosh. In the blink of an eye, a glittering golden crystal appears above her hands. Yeah. Is that the Lucis? Yes. But the light the Lucis is emitting is uneven, and as I look closer, I can see that it is cracked. Oh. What are you doing? The only thing that can stop you. My heart plummets as I realize what Parfait is going to do. Parfait, no! No, Parfait! If Parfait hears me, she gives no indication. If you do this, you'll die, Faye. Well, you'll die and remove all magic from Angiel forever. Well, that's the point. Nothing will stop you, will it? Yeah, nothing else will stop you, will it? Your hatred for the humans, the corruption for the Tenebrarium, it runs too deep. I see that now. Magic was never meant to be used with malice, Hildire. So long as witches can be corrupted, magic will always pose a threat. I can't allow that to happen. I wanted to change things with Delora, but... what gives you the right to decide what to do with the magic? Well, I am the Lucis bearer. I have a responsibility to maintain balance. But I see now that there can be no balance when the crystallium exists. Light begins to gather, first around Parfait's feet and then around her body. It slowly begins to make its way toward Mother. In no time at all, the light swarms around their bodies. A white crystal suddenly appears in front of Mother. The Tenebrarium, yeah. I won't let you do this, Faye. Well, too late. It is too late for that, yes. The golden light of the Lucis intensifies. I can hear the crystal shattering from the inside out. No! Oh, well, the Tenebrarium breaks soon after, its fragments slowly fading with the bright light. Mother and Parfait's images begin to do the same, despite Mother's struggle. Okay. Both they and the crystallium slowly dissipate into the mist. No! I lunge forward, but Fritz's arms are suddenly around my waist, holding me still. Mother snarls as she attempts to escape Parfait, but the light around her creates a thick box she cannot escape from. Oh. You would die for the humans? The humans that have hunted my kind because of their fairy tales? Yes. No, I'm dying for you, Hildire, so that... Ah, no! No, no, no! This is a very touching moment. Well, a very sad moment. It's pinnacle. No, I'm dying for you, Hildire, so that for once I might save you from yourself. Mother chokes out a laugh. You are a fool, Faye. Perhaps I am, but at least I will die with hope in my heart. Yeah. Mother turns to look at me in the blinding light. Parfait's concentration never wavers as she turns to settle her eyes on me as well. Okay. Mother's face is fading in the glow, but her voice is clear. I truly did love you, Hana. Everything I have done, everything I did out of love. Well, Parfait smiles at me gently. It is a silent goodbye. There is a brief burst of light, and for a few moments I am blinded. When my vision returns, I see Fritz first. He is staring where Parfait and Mother had been only moments ago. On the floor where they stood moments ago, there is now only dust. Wow. Jesus. This ending is so like... It's like, dang. Like, because... What was it called? That's it? Wait, what? What's happening? What's happening? It's dark. Oh, sorry, my like brightness just cut and I was like really, I was like wondering, I was like what the hell? Never mind, you probably won't see it, but yeah. With the loss of the Crystallium, magic vanished from Angiel. All the fairy tale curses broke simultaneously and all witches and fairies lost their power. As soon as it disappeared, I turned to an education centered around the knowledge of Angiel rather than magic. Oh, okay, so she's now a historian. I had decided back then that I would do anything to help Angiel and its people. No, what are you doing? And it needed to start first by educating myself. I started to follow my father on his trips around the kingdom. I'd even started to accompany Emmeline on all her trips outside the palace. Fritz has remained by my side for the past month. He comes with me every day I visit the graves. Carefully, so as not to disturb the flowers Jurian had left earlier, I leaned down to place my lilies by each gravestone. Garland, Delora, and Parfait. Oh my god. I was gonna say, like, this ending, like, his route ending is so much more, like, people dying than, like, comparatively to the other endings. Jesus, it just, like, escalated. And body count. And the last is always the hardest. With a deep breath, I walk up to the 4th gravestone. I stare at it for a long time before I finally set a lily down. Mother. Fritz and I stand there in silence as we grieve for the lives lost that day. I look up into the sky and smile as I stare at the warm rays of the sun. I shift my gaze at Fritz, who smiles at me. He has never left my side since that day. Fritz has already told me that he loves me, but I have yet to tell him my own feelings. Fritz, yeah. Yes? I didn't have the chance to ask this before, but... How can you possibly love me? I have been so horrible, not just to you, but to everyone around me. Fritz's expression softens. He gently tilts my chin upwards so that I have to look at him as he speaks. Aw, for as long as I've known you, you've had to deal with things no one should have to go through. You were forced to live in the Queen's shadow because others refused to see past your relationship to her. You've been alone for so long, and I could see how much you were hurting. Oh, and despite all that pain, you remain strong. You've always been strong. From the beginning, all I wanted to be was someone you could rely on, someone you could trust, someone who would always be there for you. I must have trusted him from the beginning too. Fritz is the only one I allowed to get close to me. I do not look away from him, but instead I stare back into his eyes with conviction. I know I may not have shown it, but I did trust you. Yeah, I've always been able to tell you wear your heart on your sleeve. I do not. Fritz laughs, and the slight cockiness of his smile reminds me a little bit of Varg. Someone else. It's been years since you became my responsibility. Once I learned your tells, you became an open book. He surprised me by putting his forehead to mine. The feeling of him so close is comforting. I love the way you're so careful with whatever you consider precious. I love how your eyes light up when you eat a good pastry. I love whenever you rely on me. I bite down on my lip as I blink back tears. Stop! This is so cheesy. No, stop it. No one has ever had that kind of faith in me. Before I knew it, you'd made a spot for yourself in my heart. Jesus, I began to want, to hope that one day I could be as dear to you as you are to me. I stare up at Fritz, the tears pooling in my eyes. He wipes away a tear before it can roll down my cheek. Stop, Fritz! You're making me so emo! I have never felt so cherished before. I do not step away when he leans forward to plant a kiss on my forehead. Aw, forehead kisses. So cute! Thank you. I hold out my hand and Fritz comes to my side. I feel the warmth of his fingers and smile. When things begin to overwhelm me, he never fails to calm me. I grip his hand more tightly. Hana? What? I love you! Girl. You know that, right? I've known for a while, but it's nice to hear it all the time. All the same, yeah. Then I'll say it for as long as you want me to. For the rest of our lives, then? Oh, shut up. A princess in her knight, huh? Yes. Does that matter? No, it doesn't. Even if there was such a rule, I'd abolish it once I become queen. Fritz starts to laugh. As always, his laughter is full of so much joy it lifts my heart. I want to hear it for the rest of my life. Bah! And maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to. So cheesy! So fluffy. Aw, but there's that. There we go. There we go. That is his good ending. Yes, his good ending finally. Holy shit. And yeah, I will give my thoughts after the credits, you guys. Yes. Okay, there we go. We've hit the ending. There we go. Yes. Where's my achievement? Oh no, I don't want that. Don't bring me back to the thing. Yes, Red Hood is our achievement. Hey, we got our street creds. Kidding. Anyways, so there's that. There's Fritz's good ending. We lived happily ever after with him. And of course, for Varg, his alter ego, his alter bad, tall, dark, and handsome ego has relinquished himself because the power of love. And yeah, we managed to make him have a change of heart. Anyways, so my final thoughts on his routes. I know a lot of you had like really mixed feelings. You've expressed that to me in the comment section. Really mixed feelings in terms of like Fritz's routes. It's like a love-hate kind of thing, or it's like least favorite route in terms of that, because it's a little it's dramatic and it's a little too complicated. And I totally understand that. I see it now. Like I can see where you guys were coming from, because to me it's like, there are good aspects about his route, and there are some aspects in which I can like readily recall. There are times where I'm just like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Kind of thing. So like some good things about his route was the full fact of like the whole reveal of how Varg, this villain who has appeared repeatedly throughout the entirety of other people's routes, is, you know, it turns out that it is Fritz. It's like he is one and the same person of Fritz, and that is his curse. Like I like that aspect of him, or that fact. Yeah, that I liked how it's like, yes, that is the big reveal. Someone who you thought was like a villain this entire time, and like to an antagonist to all the other routes that you've played, turns out to be, you know, one of the people, turns out to be the same person that you are trying to romance in his route. So I like that. I thought the reveal of it was really early on, like surprisingly enough, because even though I caught on like fairly quickly, just because, I don't know, for that one moment of genius that I had, that I managed to kind of piece it together before the whole big reveal in the game itself. But yeah, even then I thought the reveal was pretty early. But I guess it's supposedly to like, you know, bring in more conflict and more like, you know, I guess confusion for our character in terms of who she should trust, and how, you know, who she thought she could trust is like now someone who she needs to question her trust in because of this, like, you know, this added factor. There was moments in which I was like, what the hell, this doesn't make sense, or like, why would she do that? It's a lot of it had to do with, I think, was when Hana, I think there's two instances. I think it was when Hana was trying to help the siblings escape from the palace initially, and she stopped Varg by, like, you know, throwing him off balance, and then we got a head start in running with the siblings, and we made it to like the secret tunnels, and we just kind of chilled there for a few seconds just to talk about shit, and that's when Varg was able to catch up to us. But then in that moment where we were cornered, you know, we remembered that magic word that Fritz taught us in order to like recall him back, even if he was Varg, and we got a jump on him then, and that's when Rod and Emmeline escaped or something. Well, they escaped first, and then we were dealing with Varg by ourselves, and that's when we said the word. And then when we managed to like knock him off balance and like kind of like make him shift back to Fritz, I was like, and she ran off back to like her room and into the palace back again. And I was just like, what are you doing, girl? Like, why would you run back into the palace? And her reasoning was that she felt like her room was the only safest place that she could think of. But then I was like, didn't Rod like say or mention or comment when we helped them escape from Varg the first time around that, you know, did you think that Martin would give up on you so easily, kind of thing? And so it's like, at that moment she could have realized like, oh well, shit, well, the Martin, like, you know, they still have, like, they're still looking out for me, kind of thing, even after I stormed out on them like that. And, you know, she could have followed them back with Rod and Emmeline. And also, I think Rod was like, I swear he also said like that was where you were meant to escape with them as well too. It's like I don't know, like for some reason she just ran back into the palace, and I was like, that was really stupid. She could have gotten out right then and there, but she chose not to. And I was like, okay. And what else? So for a moment as well, I think Fritz was a really hard read, I guess. I don't know. In terms of some of the choices that involved more Fritz than it was Varg, because Varg was pretty obvious, is that we need to show him that we're not scared of him, and because he tries so hard to intimidate us, and we're like, well, we're not gonna go along with your games. But in terms of Fritz, it's like I can see after doing the good choices how it played out, but at the same time, it's like initially going in, it's like the logic of it is like, well, you know, you all saw how I worked out that logic, especially the first time around, where it's like we either pressed the issue or like, you know, just change the subject, because he was kind of like, you know, iffy about things. Like we could have taken those social cues as something that he's not willing to like divulge just yet. So it's like, okay, whatever. Like if he's ready, when he's ready, he'll tell us, and so we can just change the subject. But no, we can tell him we need to press the issue in order to show him that we notice these things about him. And it's like, okay. Like, and then of course the next time around is when we were telling him, we were either choose to tell him about his curse outright, or just say that, oh, you know, just brush it off and doubt him that he can help us, or, you know, if we let him. And the logic is that, you know, it was a better way to like, for him to let us down in terms of him not believing that he's cursed, even when we tell him he is. It's like, I don't know, he's asking for help if he can help us, and we give it to him. We say, okay, like, you know, please let me help you, and we're like, okay, fine, let him. And then we tell him, and then he just ends up getting mad. We just end up getting mad at him. Well, we end up getting mad at him anyways, but like either way, he still doubts us, except he just, you know, outright just was like, you know, I don't understand where you're coming from kind of thing. And I don't know, I still don't understand the flow of things in which it sort of still led, like, either question, either prompts led into the same result, but one was gentler than the other. I don't know. Either way, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just, ugh. Anyways, yeah, so there was that. Another good aspect, those are the two things that kind of like threw me off, that I was like, what the hell? And I was really like questioning and sort of frustrated on, and like I don't understand the logic of it. But other good things about it is that I still like the whole aspect of him being one and the same person, this villain character that we eventually got to know. And then of course is that twist in which, you know, Varg has that change of heart, and that was how he himself was able to break the curse on Fritz. And it's like, okay, so it's like, I don't know, it's like we saw that transition in a sort of way where it's like Varg becomes from antagonist to someone who he's like, okay, he's like, I may be Fritz because we're one of the same people, but now I care about you. And it's sweet in a sense. Like I can appreciate that. I don't know. I've grown to like have a soft spot for Varg afterwards in that sort of sense. Like, you know, he's got a little bit of a fight to him, or feist. I don't know. Either way, there's that. But what else? What else was there? Any sort of other things? I don't know. I think that's it for now. I think that's it in terms of what I can think of currently. But for overall, it's just like, again, it's still a well thought out story. Maybe perhaps there are just some couple things that maybe, again, was like, what the hell? Like, why would you do that kind of thing? But at least it still holds true in which it differs completely from a lot of the different stories that we get. Like the formula-wise. Like so far, it was, you know, some initial, like, what's it called? Initial conflict or some shit like that, like getting to know the person, and then having them character develop or some shit. We get that whole reveal that we're the witch, we're the daughter of a very powerful witch, and then there's that coup d'etat where it's like, you know, we find out that Sir Mythos / Sir Alcaster are the bad people that, you know, we initially trusted, but they're now shady as hell. And, you know, it flips back and forth between Sir Mythos winning out on the coup or Sir Alcaster winning on the coup, blah blah blah, etc., etc. And as well as, like, you know, the whole reveal of like the us being a witch kind of thing. Like this, in terms of Fritz's story, like I guess it like completely diverged in path, because again we got the whole reveal of us being a witch really early on, and also as well with the whole like reveal of Sir Mythos' and Sir Alcash's plan on killing the royal family and taking over the crown and stuff like that. We got that as well, except we got it from, you know, people that aren't Parfait and Dolora. We got it from Sir Mythos, the villain, like the antagonist themselves. We found out in our own sort of way, and then of course we got into like that whole like what's it called? That whole thing that it was touched upon. I think it was in Rumpel's route. Yeah, I think it was in Rumpel's route, in which we found out from Sir Mythos or something like that you know, our mother was still alive and that we needed to use our powers once we get a hold of the Tenebrarium power to revive her. And it didn't happen in Rumpel's route, so but the possibility was still there. But it happened here in Fritz's route, so it's just like, holy shit, this is like new territory kind of thing. Oh my god, we actually revived Mom, and that was the one thing that Sir Mythos wanted, and that no one kind of like, it didn't happen just yet, but it did happen here. As well as we got like, we finally found out the mystery behind the box that was revealed in Rumpel's route, where she just kind of took it out and was like, oh, what the hell is this? I remember this, but I was told never to open it, so I don't know what to do with it. But and then it was left alone, and they were like, wait, what about the box? But now we get it here. We get the full reveal here in Fritz's route. So like, I guess it kind of makes way towards our last guy's route, which is Waltz. Yay, Waltz! We finally made it. We finally made it to our last route. Our last story is with Waltz, our little Neverland curse witch here, that we found out was, you know, yes, he is actually a full man. Waltz the Big. He will become Waltz the Big eventually, but we're gonna see how it's gonna play out in terms of his route, like solely, because from Rumpel's route he managed to find his box, the box Neverland, and Tinkerbell himself, as we were raiding the castle kind of thing. And then in Fritz's route, we sort of delivered it to him, and that was how he broke his curse. So we actually know how to break his curse, but now it's like, how is it gonna play out in terms of him breaking his curse this time around in his story, so, and with us. So yeah, I'm excited to see. Again, please leave your comments. Feel free to tell me about your experiences in terms of Fritz's route, because I'm really super curious on what you guys thought about it. I know you guys, of course, expressed some sort of like a love-hate relationship with it. I really want to, like, you know, hear your opinions and your thoughts on it. And yeah, we will continue on this Let's Play for one last time, in terms of, well, not one last time, but like last story this time around, which is Waltz's story, last guy, last dude, and then we can conclude this game entirely. Wow, holy shit, we've come a long way. Anyways guys, that is for the next episode. We get started on Waltz's route, but tune in till then. But for now, bye.